I remember a client years ago who came to me, lost 60 pounds, full of energy, all of this, like got fully optimized. And he had a friend that was going through a journey with him at the same time. Now, this friend was not a client of mine, but they were going together in their transformation journey at the same time. And his friend was saying, like, his friend had lost some weight too, but his friend was telling my client that, man, I just hit this plateau. And his friend had been working on himself for a while. And he's like, I'm starting not like really how I look. Like, I've lost this weight. I'm proud of that. But it's like, I'm not like starting not like how I look. My results have hit like a plateau and my energy's kind of waned. Now, I wasn't working with his friend, so there could have been so many different factors, right? His nutrition could have been off the wall, whatever it is. But one thing that I found that he told me was that his friend, so oftentimes when clients come to me, typically they want to get their energy back, get their health in order, and drop the excess weight that may have put on over the years, right? Burning the candle at both ends, high performing job. And oftentimes there can be this point in time when someone's trying to get their health in order that I've observed two things. When they're going after things, whatever routine or ritual that they are following, right? And this is like before these guys come to me, if they followed something in the past, oftentimes if they saw results, they may have saw results on the scale, but they visually didn't like how they looked. Or they saw a little bit of results on the scale, then they hit a massive plateau, or they just saw no results on the scale in general. Now, obviously that can be a lot of factors. That could be nutrition, that could be stress, that could be so many different things. But one thing that I've found that's often overlooked is those not putting enough precedent on resistance training, right? Resistance training. And I get it, because there's a lot of different things of why someone might be reluctant to that, right? Someone might think resistance training, well, man, like if they're so used to maybe running or cycling or something like that, that now adding in resistance training is kind of like, oh, I may not be that good at that, right? So it's kind of like the pride things come in, right? Oh, I'm going to suck at this. So I get that, right? Another thing is being afraid of being injured, right? You maybe back in the day in your 20s, remember like going beast mode. And it's like, you can't do that because you don't want to be, out of commission for all the responsibilities you have. Okay, get that too. Or it's just you may not be aware of mechanically how to do certain things or the right type of resistance training. So either way, I understand where reluctance come in, but I bring this to your attention because I remember, if someone has hit a point, and maybe if you've experienced this, where you either see results on the scale and you plateau, or visually over time, you're seeing results on the scale, but over time, like I'm talking, like you've been in your journey for a while, and visually you're not liking how you look, right? There could be two things. Often that, yes, you got to make sure things like nutrition is fully dialed in. You making sure everything else in the routine is dialed in. However, one critical factor is looking at what are you doing resistance training wise? Because I remember a client years ago who came to me, lost 60 pounds, full of energy, all of this, like got fully optimized. And he had a friend that was going through a journey with him at the same time. Now, this friend was not a client of mine, but they were going together in their transformation journey at the same time. And his friend was saying, like, his friend had lost some weight too, but his friend was telling my client that, man, I've just hit this plateau. I've hit this plateau. And his friend had been working on himself for a while. And he's like, I'm starting not like really how I look. Like, I've lost this weight. I'm proud of that. But it's like, I'm not like starting not like how I look. My results have hit like a plateau and my energy's kind of waned. Now, I wasn't working with his friend, so there could have been so many different factors, right? His nutrition could have been off the wall, whatever it is. But one thing that I found that he told me was that his friend was not doing, ever since the start of his transformation journey, was not doing any resistance training at all. It was just cardio, 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 cardio. Now, that guy, if that worked, like for him, he may have really loved that. I don't know. However, it caught my attention because resistance training, if you looked at my client's results who lost 60 pounds and then his friend who hit a massive plateau in his weight loss, my client visually was lean, defined, right? He had this, I remember just the before and after, that had this like, I think he called it like a beach ball, like kind of the gut, right? And it just, his frame and his core got lean, defined. And his friend, I think his friend compared himself to like kind of a pear shape, right? And if you think of my client was like kind of more of like built and his figure was kind of going more in a Y figure, right? Anyway, I share this with you because if you've ever found that your results have hit a plateau, or you're visually over time, you've been in the game for a while and you're not liking how you visually look, I'm not just talking like 6 weeks in or, even 12. I mean, you got to go for a while, but I'm talking like over time that visually you're starting not like how you see and things have plateaued. I would invite you to look at your resistance training. To close this out, they did a study recently. Group A, they did both 12-week protocol for two groups, Group A and Group B. Gave them same nutrition, all the strategies needed to drop excess weight and get in shape, okay? But Group A did not do resistance training. Group B did do resistance training. The result, both of them did lose weight, but Group B not only lost more weight, okay, but both of them lost around between 12 to 20 pounds, like depending on where the effort of the subjects. The majority of weight that was lost, though, from those that did resistance train was pure fat. Those that didn't resistance train, they lost all kinds of muscle. Now, even if they were overweight, guess what? We all still have a little bit of muscle in us. We have to be able to function and walk and stand. So the point is that Group B that did resistance train, they lost majority of fat, but they also, at the same time, they actually fueled the fat, dropped the fat down, but they also in the phase built up a little bit of more lean tissue, right? And that what that helped was actually help their metabolic rate go up. Their resting metabolic rate when they were at their office or whatever, they burned more calories than Group A. And plus, I imagine, and I'm pretty certain visually, they probably look radically different. Group A, there is that kind of if you imagine like a melted candle, and Group B is more like that visual kind of, okay, firm, lean, defined, all of that. And that all comes from doing the right kind of resistance training. And regardless of where you are in your journey, you got to make sure you have constant progressive overload, right? You want to make sure that the training is always kind of shifting gears. Like, it's not always about like none of that muscle confusion nonsense, but it is about, once you get to a certain stimulus, you have to continue. Your body wants to stay in homeostasis, so you want to continue to give it a new stimulus, and progressive overload is key. So that's why it's always important to have the right kind of programming. Anyway, that's all I got for now. I encourage you, if you're either not resistance training, I encourage you to do so. If you are, then but you're kind of like dabbling and kind of rushing out the door, it doesn't have to take long. It could take sub 30 minutes, right? But give all you can in that sub 30 minutes of time, and don't half-ass it. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Later.